Please stand by.
Are you ready?
It's showtime, folks!
Wow, man, freaked out!
Give me a hell yeah!
Throwdown Nation, we are live. It's a Wednesday. We are streaming on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter /X, Facebook, and Twitch. And today we are convening a meeting of the Wrestling Roundtable. Tonight we have my buddy Nick, the card collecting genius behind New York, New Jersey's own Babyface Breaks. In the other window, we have the voice himself, the dulcet tones of the commentary that you've come to know and love at WWA4 and other promotions here in the ATL. Your friend and mine, Don Miguel. How you fellas doing?
Doing well.
Awesome. And tonight we're doing something a little different. We're basically just going to shoot the bull, nerd out about wrestling, talk about some of the current news in the business, and then we'll wrap things up, breaking down the match card as we know it currently for this Sunday's WWE Clash in Paris, and give our predictions as to what's going to go down. So we'll take a move over into the news. And we will start with the ongoing saga of Killer Kross. There is still a bit of controversy about the whole thing. You know, there's still some lingering doubts as to the legitimacy of his exit from WWE. It's interesting, you know. I've been kind of talking with my wife about the situation, and after the whole Seth Rollins thing, my wife is now convinced that everything is a work. But you know, with the surprise appearance he had at GCW this past weekend, which was pretty darn cool. I'm at this point, I'm about 75 to 80% convinced that he is legitimately gone from WWE. How do you guys feel about the whole Kross situation?
Nick, my man, you can go first.
Yeah, you can go first if you want.
Okay. It's one of those things where I hate to see him gone, because he is somebody that I always enjoyed when he's on screen. I definitely think he should have been on more in terms of, you know, shows and PLEs. I am happy in a way that he is out of WWE and back on the indies, just because hopefully that means he makes a trip to Georgia, and hopefully that means I get to work with him. So I'm a little selfish in that regard.
What about you, Nick?
Yeah, so like you said, with the Seth Rollins thing, these guys are smarter than we think. And I think this is a Cody Rhodes situation, like, just relived. I think Kross is going to have the run of the year in the Indies, and it's just going to come back for a huge return to WWE. My mind is so set on it. It's been set on that for a while. It's a good plan. They didn't have room for him right now, and I think Triple H might have told him that. like, hey, I'm going to release you. You're going to go do your thing, and then we'll get you back in a year. So that's my prediction there.
That's reasonable. I was watching the other day. I was actually watching a video on YouTube with Vince Russo, and I get it. It's Russo, and Russo's going to Russo. But like him or hate him, the guy does have a mind, and he had some interesting thoughts on the situation. And one of his colleagues that was on there was saying that if it truly is a situation of his having departed from WWE, and if there is some animosity and acrimony in the situation, he said that this could really be an opportunity for Tony Khan to sort of counter program WWE's counter programming of All Out on September 20th. They've scheduled this WrestlePalooza show as sort of a preview of what they've got coming on ESPN. And they're going to supposedly have a main event that night of Cena and Lesnar. This guy was saying, Tony Khan could counter program the whole thing by potentially having Cross and Scarlett debut at All Out, which is it's an interesting concept. If there really is a bad blood situation now between Cross and WWE, this would be a way to potentially really stick it to them. I mean, it would probably be burning a bridge, but I just thought it was an interesting thought.
I think if we're talking about burning bridges, in a way, one could almost view it as WWE doing it first, not because of the contract, but if what Cross was saying is true about how he got the offer first and part of the offer didn't include his wife, like no matter how I think WWE could have worded that still comes out as like not a stab in the back, but it's definitely a very like sore move. But on that same note, we could go to what we were talking about earlier. And I mean, if Triple H says go kill it for a year and we bring you back, I mean, who says you can't do AEW for however that long time, dip, and then come back to WWE? Because then now you're literally Cody rowing it and going to the other company and then coming back.
Very true. Very true. But yeah, I thought the surprise debut at GCW was handled pretty well. He had the whole scene with the fiddle and I'm no longer sad and throwing the fiddle against the wall. I thought that was pretty cool. And like I said, it'll be interesting to see how the whole thing shakes out. And as long as they don't do something like this again, I'm happy.
Lord of mercy.
I was never a fan of bald Cross.
No, I prefer a Cross with the hair, and I definitely prefer a Cross without the Gimp outfit.
That's funny. With the long hair, I always made the joke that I would love to have Killer Cross as my next Wolverine. Sometimes if you catch him with the flowy hair and it's like drenched, it sometimes looks like Wolverine to me, and I'm like, I wouldn't be upset.
Ooh, now that's interesting. I hadn't really thought about that, but yeah, I mean, I hadn't thought about him as Wolverine necessarily, but I had thought about him as possibly having a future in the Marvel in the MCU. Wolverine, that's interesting.
And I don't know if it's because of like Cena, Rock, Batista, but those are the guys that made it like realistic that if you're in WWE, you're sure to at least do a handful of movies. Now, whether you make a career out of it, that's a wrestler's decision, and especially if the audience goes well with it. But I mean, it's not something that's impossible. So I could definitely see it.
Well, we're definitely getting some folks over in the Instagram chat. We've got Coach DTM, we've got Vane Arbelayas, we've got my wife Julia, we've got Serafina Cat Collects, Alex Shaka, and the real Amanda Storm. But moving on in the news, we've got this other issue out in California, the Raja Jackson debacle. Man, it's a weird situation. The way I've seen it explained is apparently this indie wrestler Psycho Stu, who is the guy in the picture to the left, he's the guy on the right. And the way I've seen it explained is apparently outside of the venue at this indie show in California, he apparently hit Raja Jackson, who, for anybody that doesn't know, is the son of Quentin Rampage Jackson, who is a fairly legendary MMA fighter. And apparently he hit Raja Jackson with a gimmicked beer bottle outside the venue. And Raja may or may not have been told what was going to happen. You know, all of that is fairly murky and is kind of a he said, she said type of situation. So, you know, who knows what the full truth is. But later during the show, Raja Jackson entered the ring and did basically a full MMA style slam on Psycho Stu, and then proceeded to lay in 15 to 20 legitimate punches on him before, you know, other wrestlers and officials from the indie promotion were able to get in there and basically pull him off. And reports on Stu's condition have been kind of murky. Everything from treated and released to he's in critical condition in the ICU. And, you know, there's all kinds of wildly varying reports coming out. You know, the promotion is Knox Pro, which is actually owned by Rikishi. And apparently Knox Pro has now had their WWID status stripped. And there are reports that the company management is telling talent not to cooperate with the police and not to talk to the press. And the LAPD is apparently investigating the whole situation. But that's kind of it in a nutshell. But I mean, it's just a complete and total mess. Thoughts?
Yeah, so I'll start off with this. We talked about this earlier. There's no right move from anybody's standpoint in that whole entire building, behind the scenes, whatever you want to say. I mean, this is the most wrong situation I've ever seen. Even just bringing someone like this in, you didn't do a background check or something. You were talking about how he crushed it was a beer can. It was like a fake beer can. And I saw some behind the scenes footage to where they made up after that. And Psycho Stu was like, hey, dude, I'm always in character. Like, and they shook hands right after that. That's what makes it a little bit more diabolical.
Yeah.
That this dude is just completely unhinged. I personally think it was attempted murder. I mean, watching those shots rain down on the guy while he's unconscious from the body slam, and I'm pretty sure it was counted 22 shots to the face. No room for this in wrestling. No. And everybody who should get punished for this really, really should. From the referee that took almost 30 seconds to even try to get the dude off, even though he's an MMA fighter. I mean, that's your job. You're a trained referee.
Exactly.
This stuff comes up. You know, so big L to every single person in the locker room, in the back. I didn't know it was owned by Rikishi. Obviously, there's nothing he could do at the time, but got to look more into who you're bringing as a guest. There's family here. You know, there's kids. Just an absolute horrible situation that should be erased from all of our memories, honestly.
Yeah. I've got a lot of questions about whether this promotion even survives this. That's going to be a big black mark to try to overcome, and owned by Rikishi or not. That's going to be a steep climb. What do you say, Miguel?
Yeah, it's done. The promotion's done.
So I mean, yeah, like we had talked about earlier, it's one of those things where everybody's kind of in the wrong. And if they were trying to, if he was coming in as a fan and then everything transpired, at that point, I feel like it would be more the fault of the promotion and then the wrestlers, simply for the fact that you guys are professionals. You should kind of know better. Especially if you know who this kid is and you know that it's MMA, not wrestling, that that he specializes in. But if they were bringing him in as like a guest of honor, that they were planning on doing something with him in the first place, then you should have made sure he had training to know what was going on. Or even if let's say for argument's sake that the beer can bottle thing wasn't like that wasn't planned and that was like truly just a character heat in the moment thing, then if they wanted to capitalize off of that, they should have done it to where they talked with them. Like they never should let him in the ring. They should have talked to both parties after the fact, and then you could have had this nice little promo battle going on, and then maybe have him back at the next show. Maybe have an actual match once he's trained and does all the stuff and understands, that it was all character work, all that was going on. I think because I think I did see or hear something where it was kind of in the spur of the moment that they let him get his quote unquote receipt, but that never should have been the move. Especially again, he's not a wrestler, he's MMA, so you should already know that if he doesn't have training, never let him in the ring. And also, especially if the wrestler who got attacked didn't know, then that's definite no, because then now, like, it's already one thing violating trust between wrestler and another wrestler in the ring, but then as a promoter and you book this guy, like now, like kind of just betrayed his trust on that one too. So it's definitely everybody's kind of at fault here, in a way, but I think definitely it heavily lands on the promotion itself. I mean, they should have been definitely more professional about it and gone about it a whole lot better of a way.
Right. And whether it was a misunderstanding on Rampage's kid's part, like you said, if they were going to do something like this, the promotion should have sat both parties down beforehand and been like, this is what's going to happen. These are the ground rules. This is what you can do. This is what you can't do. Because obviously, something went haywire. But I mean, I did read that, Rampage himself has distanced himself from his kid, saying, I do not condone what he did, and that, he should have known better that, this is professional wrestling. This is not MMA. And, so I almost wonder if the kid has some kind of history of being unhinged.
I don't know. I kind of feel 50-50 with that sentiment, just because yes, it is pro wrestling, and it's one of those things where everybody now knows that it's fake or scripted, but also again, all three of us, like we've been in wrestling shows, or we are a part of the industry itself. We also know how kind of not true those sentiments are. Like, for example, like a super kick. Realistically, you can lean away, you can do what you can to like make sure it doesn't take your head off, but with chops or falling from a ladder, those are about as real as it gets.
Oh, of course.
So I think it might have just been, it's one of those things where I think it was just, again, the heat of the moment. Especially again, if Rajat had no idea that anything from as soon as he got there was going to happen. And I guess I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. It's one of those things where, okay, a random guy just hit a beer bottle like on my head, and then now this company is giving me the go ahead to like do something about it. It's like, again, I'm not condoning it, because obviously what happened is terrible, and prayers out to him, and his condition. But I mean, it is one of those things where I feel like it'd be kind of unfair in a way to just be like he should have known better. Because also too, we're all human. Like mistakes are gonna happen, and at the end of the day, this was a mistake just on every party that was involved.
Absolutely. So moving on, do you have anything else to say, Nick, before we move on?
No, I think you hit it right on. No, just like last statement, maybe like this guy, Psycho Stu, knew he was coming. He saw an opportunity to get some heat, maybe work with him, but overall, no, it's just not okay. I mean, if you watch anything about wrestling, that's not right. And I saw one of the comments saying the Travis Scott situation, where just another one that obviously didn't go overboard, but it just shows that there has to be more training before any of these celebrity guests come into the ring and come into the building. So
and kind of piggybacking off of that, I mean, we know, like, yes, sir, when it comes to wrestling matches, you can always talk about it beforehand. You can always plan out a match, but especially on the higher professional level like a WWE, you always call stuff on the fly as well. And so I think even then, even if you don't plan on having your guests like a Travis Scott come in and smack Cody in the head, you should still train him anyways on the off chance you decide in the moment. Maybe it is a good thing if he decides to attack him or something. So at least at that point, you have every single possibility considered, and everything's clean at that point.
Yeah. And I was just noticing on the YouTube side of things, that was actually my wife that made the comment that it makes her think of the Travis Scott situation, like you were saying. She is actually, interestingly enough, she is actually becoming a legitimate wrestling fan at this point, which is a lot of fun.
One of us.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice to be able to talk about it with her. She for the longest time while I've been doing these, she was watching most of my live streams, and she was just over time becoming more and more interested. And recently she has actually started legitimately watching the shows with me and asking me about stuff, and we're actually talking about starting to do some content together. So that's actually going to be kind of fun, I think.
I was about to say, new co-host alert.
It's amazing.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, I don't know that she'll be on necessarily every stream, but we've got some ideas in mind, so we're kind of excited about all of that. So. But so moving on to the next topic here, Stephanie Vaquer. It seemed like with her move from NXT to the main roster, she was kind of being positioned to be the next big thing in the women's division. And suddenly she's kind of been sort of pulled from WWE TV, and then we had the whole situation with Naomi's pregnancy announcement, and the match that was supposed to have been at Clash in Paris has been scrubbed, and there's sort of a nebulous feeling of perhaps a tournament or some kind of a match to determine a new women's world champion. But the fact that Stephanie Vaquer has kind of disappeared from programming kind of makes me wonder, does WWE have some kind of a lack of confidence in her to be able to carry that portion of the women's division? I just find the whole thing a little odd. Do you guys have any thoughts?
It's definitely a weird one, because especially, I don't even want to say kind of Raw specific, but I think also WWE specific. When you have her go missing like that off of WWE programming, it's definitely noticeable because especially with the women's division at Raw, don't get me wrong, all the women talent in WWE are amazing. I can go on for hours how every one of them individually is the bomb. But especially lately, I feel like the main highlighted people on WWE, other than Naomi, of course, because Money in the Bank champion stuff like that. But then also too, it was mainly Io and Rhea. Outside of that, and let me rephrase too, Becky Lynch. But it's like outside of those hand select full of people, it's not really much going on in terms of like big name stars in the women's division. Stephanie Verker was one of those big names because every time we saw her, it was always awesome to watch. She was always like one of the highlights of the night. So it's definitely a presence that you feel is missing when she does get taken off of TV like that. I don't I kind of want to be a little protective of WWE because I don't want to say it's them losing confidence here. I think it's just very unfortunate timing and circumstance with everything because again, Naomi's thing, obviously you can't ever plan that. Congratulations to her as well on the baby. But that's never something you can plan for. So that was just unfortunate circumstances. And then I think too, I guess one way to look at it, because of her winning the thing earlier and be able to get the opportunity at Clash of Paris, I mean, one could almost say there was no reason for her to work because because normally when you have wrestlers, doing matches every week, why? It's because they're trying to earn. If it's not them being champion and defending the title, it's them trying to reach that championship goal, right? So it's one of those things. She already has number one contendership. Why have this need to wrestle? I do think that like even if you weren't going to have her wrestle as much because of that, I still would have liked to see more, I guess maybe promos or stuff out of her. Or honestly, I would have loved to see her anything that WWE's done with AAA lately. I think that would have been perfect for her there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely weird not seeing her there. I do want to see her more. Love Stephanie Verker. But I don't think, part of me doesn't think it's anything where WWE's like not confident in her. But then also, like you said, talent get brought up from NXT all the time. And we've seen it where there's cases of you getting brought up to NXT and it's this cool, great moment, but then nothing. Because at the end of the day, like I was mentioning earlier, there's a lot of top stars that we always highlight every week that it's kind of hard to try to make these grand big stories for other stars and still fit in what we currently have. I mean, I think a popular one that we saw was Dijak. I mean, Dijak had this great, awesome run. NXT has memorable matches from NXT. Gets called to the main roster, and then however long gets sent back to NXT to then get released. So it's definitely it's you see with WWE, AEW, it's hard having so many high level talent that deserve to be the main eventer, that deserve to have these spotlights, but because of everybody else doing the same thing too, it's I mean, not to quote Jago Fatu, but you get in where you fit in. And it's one of those things. I'm hoping Stephanie Verker, like I said, they figure out what to do with her, and hopefully she becomes champion. I'm rooting for her on that one, no matter who she goes against. I do think that in the future, WWE should start planning ahead again, keeping every scenario in mind. So, okay, if our champion, gets pregnant, gets sick, A, B, C, and D, and we have this number one contender, okay, what can we do last minute as a backup? Like, could we do like a quick, like fatal 4-way with 2 women from Raw, 2 women from SmackDown, and like make that like 1v1, like however we want to do that. There definitely should have been, I think, a contingency plan in place like that for every champion or championship match. So I'm not gonna lie, I lost my train of thought, but the point is, I definitely hope we start seeing Stephanie Verker more.
What do you say, Nick?
Yeah, this was nothing but a misfire. I mean, I'm just going to keep it as simple as that. They saw the green light for a second and then immediately had to come to a stop, and they're just preserving her. I think that's all it is. She's a star. It's the most undeniable thing ever. I've been watching my whole life. She has that thing that nobody could explain. Yep. She can't even talk on the mic, in pure English, and it's unbelievable, that aura that she has. Pure misfire, bad timing. Just keep it as simple as that. She's going to be back on top, and they didn't want to waste it on some like BS type. Here's the title. It makes the run like a little illegitimate, but that's all I think. Just misfire for sure.
Gotcha. So moving on to our final topic, this Friday, the 29th, the Topps Cactus Jack Hobby Box is finally being released. And I'm going to let Nick take the lead on this, as I don't know a lot of the particulars, but I do know it is a big deal and a long-awaited event. So, Nick, take it away. Tell us what this is, what it means, and what the implications are.
Yeah, so like you said, it comes out on Friday. We haven't had WWE product since WrestleMania. WrestleMania was WrestleMania exclusive Cactus Jack, so the only place you can get it is at WrestleMania and online. Nobody got it online. This is huge for the hobby. The hobby's been waiting, been itching. Is it the set I wanted to come out? No. It's basically just a rerun of what just came out. Different inserts, different parallels, but just a beautiful overall set. And like I said, the hobby's been itching for it. It's just going to go nuclear. It's going to bring a big audience to wrestling cards for sure. And then they're lining up set after set after set. So I'm really strapping in for these next couple months. I'm going to be doing breaks all the time on Fanatics and whatnot. It's busy season now, so I've been waiting since March, April. Haven't opened the pack since like March or April.
Wow.
So I mean, on Friday, Saturday, oh man, I cannot wait. It's been way too long awaited, way too much debauchery. Oh man, he said, she said, lies, truths, the whole roller coaster leading up into Friday. And the hobby's buzzing about it, so we're all excited. It's basically like our Super Bowl right now.
That's awesome. And, this is sort of an opportunity, when we talked a little bit about this when you were on the show a few weeks ago, that to some extent, Topps has kind of dropped the ball on some of this stuff. So this potentially is an opportunity for them to start righting some wrongs.
Yeah, I think it was some foreshadowing. I knew I was going to eat my words. They didn't get me fully on board yet, but I think in the next couple months, I'm going to be back in a good relationship with Topps. Hopefully, I want to be,
Oh yeah,
it just didn't work out for the last couple months, but I think we could rekindle the relationship for sure.
That's awesome. You have anything to say, Miguel?
I'm not gonna lie. Since the start of this topic, it feels like I'm hearing Spanish. Catching every word here and there. This isn't my wheelhouse, but my dad, he's a collector of other things and like figures and stuff like that. So I get the collector's itch. I get anticipating something like this. So I'm just happy that itch is getting scratched for you, brother. I hope it's everything. I hope it's everything you're wanting.
Awesome.
I hope so too. We'll find out on Friday for sure.
So this Sunday, we have at 2 p.m. Eastern time, which is it's one of these odd start times because it's a European show. But we've got WWE Clash in Paris, and it's one of the, I guess, minor PLEs, but I mean, in my opinion, this show has felt kind of rushed. I don't feel like it's had the best of builds. But I mean, it's got a couple of interesting matches, but it's also got a couple of matches that I'm just kind of like, eh. like I said, I just I feel like to some extent they don't put as much effort in build for the like I said, the more minor PLEs as they do with the really big ones. But I mean, I guess not every show is going to completely knock it out of the park. But I just feel like, well, uh, some of it is also the daytime start time and the fact that it's on a holiday weekend. It's just kind of an odd show. Period. Um,
I just say that it's running while I'm at work.
ah, that sucks.
Dude, you have no idea. I've missed the last 2 freaking PLEs because of it.
Well, you got to pay the bills somehow.
Amen on that.
So, as far as I know, they haven't announced the match order. So, they've got 5 matches announced. And so, this is kind of the card as we know it. And like I said, they haven't announced the match order. So I basically put them in an order that seemed logical to me. So I've got the first match being Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella for the Women's Intercontinental title, and this match, I'm just going to come right out and say it. I'm completely indifferent. It's a match that I don't feel like necessarily really even needed to happen. I mean, I'm predicting it'll go on for several minutes, but I mean, it's pretty obvious to me at least that Becky Lynch retains.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you there. Definitely Becky Lynch. I can see her retaining. At first, I felt indifferent. Just because. So at first it was 50-50 just because Nikki Bella has been like my childhood crush. Like she has always been one of my favorite like WWE wrestlers ever since I first started watching WWE. So she has a special place in my heart. I was happy when she came back. But the other side of it was that I've just never personally been a fan of Becky Lynch. Not like at certain moments, yes, certain moments, no. Um, but what made me pay attention and actually become kind of a fan of Becky Lynch has been this latest heel run because it has been, at least to me, phenomenal. And especially her, her getting boos from her hometown crowd, that was impressive. But then the interaction she had with Nikki about oh, that would have been you and your husband. Oh, wait, you can't see him anymore. That entire segment got me. I was like, you know what? I'm down to watch this. So I'm definitely a little more invested, but this is definitely one of those matches where we already know who wins. And that's the one thing that's kind of sad about, I think, wrestling now as it was back then. Like back then, it was truly anybody's game. Like, especially, and like we even saw it a little bit with Rhea and Io that one Monday night where Io became champion right before WrestleMania. Like nobody knew that was going to happen, but then it happened. So like I kind of miss that unpredictability of wrestling. But I definitely agree with you that Becky Lynch is coming out on top.
What do you say, Nick?
Yeah, this is Nikki Bella is a speed bump.
Yeah.
Wasted opportunity. I mean, it's getting treated like a filler match that could have been on a Monday Night Raw. Pretty disappointing with all the young talent that they could have introduced. Yep. And like Miguel said, Becky's doing her best work ever.
Oh, for sure.
And she's been doing this. Yeah, she's been doing the same thing for years. And if she could do something, what did we learn after the Lyra Valkyria feud? Is that she could put someone over and have crazy matches. For us to get Nikki Bella thrown at her is just unbelievable. It's only going to kill her momentum, to be honest with you. Speed bump match, it's something I don't like, but we'll enjoy because Becky's just on fire right now.
Yeah. And, do, I mean, I understand it to some extent, but I do feel like there are times that WWE relies too much on these nostalgia moments. Let's bring back Nikki Bella and put her in a big match, and but I will definitely agree with you. Becky is operating at a crazy good level right now. Julia, my wife, and I were watching Raw, and watching her go back and forth with the crowd in Birmingham was hilarious. The Ozzy comment, wow. And somebody in
It's wild.
Serafina Cat Collects, just right when I was saying that, made the comment. What she said about Ozzy was kind of crazy.
Can I ask you guys a question? Just because we kind of made a slight mention of it. I don't know about you guys, but me personally, I like. Don't get me wrong. I do appreciate that we get the Monday and SmackDown like title defense and stuff like that. But I also hate that there are certain titles or certain stuff that's not defended on PLEs. I don't know if it's because I'm, I guess, used to that, or it's one of those things where I don't, like, for example, I don't like that we're not having Dom and AJ Styles on this card, or if we're going back to that one pay-per-view where we didn't have the SmackDown titles, and we had that TLC match on SmackDown, which again, I love that we have that on a SmackDown. But like, I also would love it too if like those also got properly showcased on PLE.
Yeah,
that was Mania, where they had the New Day and the War Raiders fight over that insane ladder match, which is unbelievable. But
to me, you flip that script, everybody's happy. But I mean,
another Monday Night Raw match. No, but I'm sorry to say it. New Day's on their way up now. I love what Xavier Woods.
Oh, that hat gimmick was so
Mania
funny.
Season.
Oh, the hat was great.
Oh man, so good. Yeah, he's doing some good stuff.
He is.
I think my only fear with that, quickly before we go on to the next match, my biggest fear is I don't know if it's because I've just seen it with other WWE stars. I'm worried at some point soon we're losing Grayson, because Grayson Waller I've always enjoyed, and I don't know, he's in that space where he wasn't really doing much with Theory. Now he's in this random role with New Day, and part of me wonders how long that lasts.
I've got similar concerns. I like Grayson Waller a great deal. But I feel like he's in a really odd spot right now, and I don't know what's going on with Austin Theory. I've noticed lately he's been very active, interestingly enough, on TikTok, doing like these little motivational videos. So I don't know if he's trying out perhaps a new persona.
Going back to the old selfie gimmick.
Yeah. So
I've heard mixed reports. I've heard he might possibly be injured. I've heard different things here and there. What I'm hoping is that, because I also hear it too from Grayson on Raw, where he makes comments about getting rid of dead weight. So I'm hoping at some point we do get a Theory return. He comes babyface, and maybe that is why he's doing the motivational stuff to kind of help set up that babyface return. But Theory is also another one too that I've always enjoyed watching, and I do hate how, especially too, the way he was getting booked with the McMahon transition. That was just unfortunate circumstances. I mean, I think if anybody else got put in that situation, they'd maybe be in the same spot he's in. So I just feel bad that happened to him.
Yeah.
A thought quick on Theory, because I've been thinking about it a lot. If it doesn't work out here, that is someone that would thrive unbelievably in AEW. Theory and MJF, Theory and Hangman. I mean, that type of young talent on the mic.
Then I think part of me, just for the A4 love of it, man, if he makes the jump to AEW, I love to either see him and AR Fox go to work against each other or as a tag team. Oh, dude, I'd love to see that.
That would be an interesting tag team.
Yeah, and then also selfishly for me, that means Fox gets more TV time, gets put in the spotlight more. So.
Absolutely. And plus, as I recall, there is at least sort of a rudimentary connection there, because didn't Theory come out of A4?
That's what I was saying. So
Yeah,
like that
yeah.
that's Lee perfect, and that's more selfish
Yeah.
on my part that I want to see that. But
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I love seeing Theory on WWE. If you went to AEW, I'm not mad about it.
Yep. So anyway, match number 2, Sheamus and Rusev. You know, this is another one that I mean, it'll be fine. It'll be a very physical, very hard hitting match, as the previous matches they've had together have been. But I almost don't feel like it's entirely necessary. I mean, this will obviously be the blow off in the feud they've been having. But to some extent, I almost feel like it's been done, and perhaps they're kind of beating a dead horse here. But I don't know. Thoughts?
Banger.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen this so many times. I'm so over it. If Rusev doesn't win, just cancel them both. I mean, I don't know how much more I could see of Sheamus. I loved what he did, loved what he done for the company, but both of these guys are past their time, and they're just taking time away from other people that could be really brought up here.
So I'm gonna agree with that statement partially. I think for Sheamus, that is more correct, because he has been in the company for however long. I think he did great work with Gunther and Drew McIntyre during that stint. Definitely Sheamus is somebody right now where he's in a great spot to put over younger talent and be that experienced veteran and all that stuff, because he does put on bangers.
Right.
The only reason I say partially, because Rusev coming back from AEW, I think he definitely should get at least a push or two more. I definitely, I've been feeling a type of way with how he's been getting booked. Malachi Black, not so much. I've actually kind of enjoyed watching him and Damian. I want to see where they go with or excuse me, Aleister Black. Sorry. And then I do feel a type of way with Penta and Phoenix, and my humble opinion is that they should have just had them debut at the same time and be the Lucha Bros. Because then I'm hoping, especially once this WWE draft happens, and I'm hoping that we have a balanced tag division in both Raw and SmackDown, because I do feel like SmackDown has the way more stacked tag team division.
Oh, for sure.
I think once we get a shake of that, and then maybe some NXT people being brought up, then we can actually get the Lucha Bros, and then we get them running at the speed they were in AEW here at WWE.
So this match, I'm actually interested to see, just for the physicality, and Roman and Bronson Reed is going to be a sight to behold. I mean, I absolutely love Bronson Reed. I liked him during his first WWE run, and then I watched some of the stuff he did in New Japan. After he got released and before he got brought back, and the guy is talented, and he's one of these big men that can move like a much smaller man, and can adapt to virtually any style. So I'm interested to see this match, and just see how it unfolds, and see where it takes the storyline.
I'm upset with both of you that you didn't.
I mean, this is.
I'm upset with both of you that you didn't acknowledge the tribal chief. But go on, Nick.
I'm sorry. I always acknowledge my tribal chief, but it's pretty sad. I was saying that this is the best built match of the card, and it's over shoes.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's Roman Reigns. Bronson Reed has the green light here. Roman Reigns also puts people over. Bronson Reed will never go over, but it's just going to be a spotlight, a showcase, and I think this is just going to add to a good story. This is a perfect match for this PLE, and I think it's going to be one of the more exciting ones because there should be some Heyman
No doubt.
shenanigans. So I think this is going to be a good one for sure.
I definitely agree with you. This is definitely a sports entertainment match. I am fully prepared to be sports entertained. I love Roman Reigns. He is and will forever be my tribal chief. How I feel about Bronson Reed, it's very complicated because it's so I love who's in the vision. I love Seth Rollins, I love Paul Heyman, I love Braun Breaker, I love Bronson Reed individually. Because my issue is especially with this group, like normally, I feel like with a group like this, you have your main star in Seth Rollins, who brings up these younger talent that aren't at that level as him yet, but by the time the story has run its course, they shall be at that level. I think my issue is that to me, Braun Breaker was already at that level. Like, I'm sorry, Braun Breaker is one of the most over, the greatest. Like, honestly, he's my favorite currently in WWE. Like, everything he does is awesome. With Bronson Reed, I just don't. What gets me is I understand the whole thing of, oh, like I'm Seth Rollins. I went against Bronson Reed. I've taken these tsunamis, so I understand how dangerous he is. That's why I recruited him. If anything, if I'm Bronson Reed, because I did that to you, you should be my lackey. Like I clearly can dominate you whenever I want to. So I don't know why we're doing this. I think that was kind of my only critique with Bronson Reed, but I do agree that he is phenomenal. So I am excited to see this match. I am excited for all the shenanigans, and I am really hoping that Braun Breaker just out of nowhere hits the greatest spear of all time.
I won't argue that. Oh, Miguel, looking at the chat on Instagram, ATL United says, if Miguel really is the Don of commentary, I want to join the mafia.
Ha! Shout out, Teddy. Some merch might be. No, I'm kidding. Mafia. Sorry, now all kinds of ideas are springing in my head. So we'll see what happens with that.
The wheels are turning.
Hey, money's money.
Absolutely. All about the Benjamins.
A popular Halloween costume for 2025 Bronson Reed is crazy. Just imagine all those kids coming out with freaking shoes tied around their neck.
Yeah.
Oh, that is the greatest
the Shula follow.
Dude, that is the greatest cheap costume you could ever make. Oh, I'm mad I didn't think about that. I might have to make some investments.
Julia was my wife was talking to me about that the other night, saying, she wonders how many kids are going to show up to our door at Halloween wearing the Shula follow.
Man, that's great.
So, Cena and Logan Paul. I don't like Logan Paul, but I am starting to have respect for the amount of work the guy has put in to actually become a halfway decent professional wrestler. I mean, he's put in the work, he's put in the time, and at least he's not one of these celebrities that comes in, makes a quick appearance, and then he's gone. He's there week to week. I don't know that necessarily he needed to be one of the opponents for Cena during this farewell tour, but I mean, I don't have strenuous objections to it either. Thoughts?
I think, like we talked about with the Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed match, I think for this PLE, it's perfect. And I say that because if this was the main, I have to assume this is the main event. if this was the main event of any other PLE WWE has, I'd be a little tilted. But because it's Clash of Paris, because it's not this grand card, which I don't know why it's not, considering internationally WWE always has the greatest crowd ever. I think this match is perfect for this pay-per-view. Going off of what you said, I definitely Logan Paul is actually like, it's honestly somebody I've grown to like, just because again the matches he put on, like, they're good. He actually does care. He is trying to get better. He's always trying to step his game up. Now, with that being said, he has no excuse to be bad, considering that he has however many months to prep for said matches. So that's my only critique. I do think in a way it is kind of a perfect match for John Cena's farewell tour, because it is because at the end of the day, Logan Paul is the sign of new times. Like, WWE isn't exclusive to now homegrown wrestling talent. No, it's either you're the best on the indies, or you're considered the best at wrestling, you're considered the best in your sport, or you're famous. One of those three things make you are qualified to be a WWE wrestler. So Logan Paul is that sign of the times, and John Cena is that older tradition leaving the door. Now, with that being said, I've enjoyed the build-up, just because John Cena was able to give one of his classic breakdowns of a promo, pretty much just calling out what is wrong with his opponent. We've seen him do it against Theory. We saw him doing it against Logan Paul. So I was happy we get to see that side of Cena. I'm excited I'm happy that John Cena is back to being a face. And I think I'm glad that people kind of have low expectations of this match, because I think with what they can do, because everybody has low expectations, they're gonna blow everybody out the water.
Agreed.
All right, so I'll hop in here, and I'm going to start off with Matt. This is the last time I come on the podcast, because you said you don't like Logan Paul. Logan Paul is the absolute future of this business. If there is someone that I am high on, it is that man. I personally, and I'm not trying to bust balls here, that he is unbelievable. I am such a big fan of him. It's crazy. I mean, we're going to see vintage John Cena here versus like peak athleticism Logan Paul. This is just fuel to the fire. I mean, this is everything I've ever wanted. I know for a fact that this will be the match of the night, undoubtedly. Absolutely undoubtedly. I mean, I don't know why I'm so high on Logan Paul. It's just he has that thing you can't teach. And I don't think anybody really touches him on the mic and in the ring. Is he perfect? No. Is he a technician? No. But just the pure athleticism, the charisma, the personality, the natural heat. I mean, not many people have that natural heat. And another person, so these are two of my three favorite superstars right now. My second is Dirty Dom.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Cena ends the farewell tour becoming a Grand Slam champion. But mark my words, and I might record this for myself, Logan Paul will be a Grand Slam champion. And you heard it here
And
first.
I'll go off of that and say he'll be the first Grand Slam champion to also have the AAA Mega Championship, because I'm wanting a 2-belt Dirty Dom, but please continue.
Oh yeah, no, I said Logan Paul's.
Oh, I think you were talking Dirty Dom. I was like, that's something we can agree on, right there.
This is
Yeah.
no, yeah. Dirty Dom is he's gonna be one too. But realistically, if this is a match where you could really spotlight Cena, you saw he has that pep in his step now from that Cody match in SummerSlam, just being the face again for 20 plus years, exactly in this position where he has to put someone over, also win the match too. I think this is going to be a real clinic. This is going to look like 2012 John Cena, and it's really going to showcase Logan Paul and put a rocket on his back. I think Logan Paul goes to win a title after this.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, you know, I want to actually be wrong about Logan Paul. and like I said, you know, I'm not denying that the guy has put in the work. I don't know. I guess I just feel like I want to see more before I'm completely on the Logan Paul train.
I think I you're acting as like the true wrestling fan, and it's hard because you know you're a historian
Yeah,
of wrestling, and it's hard to see somebody get that push and not really earn his time,
yeah,
you know, and I agree too. But when you have someone like that doesn't need time, that comes in, he wasn't
right.
green. I mean, the guy looks like he's been doing it for years. He comes in, naturally gets on the mic, naturally
Yeah,
has that heat. You know, he's been an entertainer
very
his whole
true.
life. He's a freakishly athletic person. So that's why I think WWE sees what I see, where it's something that you can't teach, you don't have to mold. You just give the guy his time and he
Yep.
makes magic. And we've seen that with a lot of people, and we see what that does with a lot of people in the business. But yeah, I think it shows his dedication. He's committed to it 1000%. You know, I think this is his future. I mean, he works a part-time schedule. You know, this is exactly where he needs to be, and I think he's really going to thrive. I really do love Logan Paul. He's one of the only natural heels we have in the business right now.
Pretty
Right?
much, yeah.
So I'm very
Him
I'm
and
very
Dom.
50-50 in this in both your guys' viewpoints because I am a little hesitant like Matt. I do like Logan, like you, Nick. I think my only thing, the natural heat that Dom has is very different
No, it's
from
crazy.
Logan Paul's natural heat. Just because, like, I kind of don't want to bring this up, but Logan Paul has heat for very specific reasons. And it's stuff he's done outside of WWE in the past. Like, that's not even just having natural heat. That's just, just that situation. Dirty Dom, that was a great, like, as soon as Shin connected to Rey Mysterio's nutsack, that was a complete game changer. Like, that was the moment that greatness was born. Because that went from being Mysterio's kid to, are we sure that's not Eddie Guerrero's kid? Like that, I will probably ride the high of Dirty Dom a lot more than Logan Paul. And I will say, I said Braun Breaker was my favorite. Dirty Dom, if he's not tied, he's a damn near close second. So that is my only critique with Logan Paul. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna say a hot take. I don't fully believe in this. I just kind of want to, say something a little controversial. Logan Paul, at the end of the day, one might view him as a great business decision. I say this because even if Logan Paul wasn't a great athlete, even if he didn't pick up to this as quickly, which he has, and kudos to him for that, the money that he's probably brought in for WWE, and also too, I mean, technically, Logan Paul should be credited for, now we have sponsors on everything now, which, some people feel a way about it. Some people, I don't mind it in the ring. I hate the Slim Jim stuff on the table, but Logan Paul did start this thing of sponsors and money. So you could say Logan Paul may not have earned it in the ring, but I mean, he's kind of earned it in terms of drawing money in a different sense that I think we're used to.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there, but like you were saying, I think sponsorships on the tables is a little much.
Or oh my god, the Slim Jim ladder.
The ladders,
dude. Oh my god, that made me so upset. I almost turned it off. I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Like, congratulations, you've officially ruined it for me.
Yeah.
And then, I'm sorry, just a little quick rant, just because we're on the topic. Am I the only one that gets frustrated seeing that damn hydration center, like the little thing next to the commentator?
Yes.
Who uses it? It's I doubt his fans grabbing from the barricade. I don't see commentary drinking it. Who's it for? Like, just keep it in the ring and stop having it outside, unless you're like,
I know.
Like, I don't know. I don't know why that's such a pet peeve of mine.
I hate
and
that.
I think some of that may be what subconsciously, at least, is souring me on Logan Paul. Like you said, the hydration station.
Oh, there could be many reasons.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But
that being said, if Logan Paul wants a advocate for Khan.
But Matt, isn't that a good thing, Matt? Isn't that a good thing that you're naturally hating
Well,
him a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit?
He's got a point.
Very
Doing his
true.
job.
Very true.
Yep,
Love him or hate him, you won't forget him.
There you go. That's it.
I can't even
So-
argue that. That was great.
So looking over at the Instagram chat, our boy Von LaFleur's in the audience.
Child the pop star.
Yep, and Detroit Murphy 4 is hanging out as well. So moving on to the final match, we've got this fatal four-way. We've got Seth Rollins defending the title against Punk, LA Knight, and Jey Uso.
So I completely forgot this match existed. I completely forgot because this match exists. I forgot this could be main event. I would assume this is the main event.
That would be what I would think. Yeah, I mean, like I said, they haven't announced match order. I just put them in an order that logically made sense to me. So,
this one's tough because this is a Becky Lynch Nikki Bella situation where we clearly know who's gonna win. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, CM Punk. Like CM Punk should. Because I feel a little hesitant saying that. I feel like maybe CM Punk wins it off of Seth in the future. I do. How I feel about CM Punk getting another title run at all is that can be its own discussion. But with that being said, Seth Rollins is somebody I like. He has gone in my heart from being the person I dislike the most in the Shield to arguably being my second favorite member of the Shield. Roman Reigns first. CM Punk, he's somebody I didn't watch when I was younger. I've seen him more older, especially my favorite thing with him was the MJF feud he had at AEW. So I have grown to like Punk, especially his promos. Yeah, LA Knight, that dude. The fact that he hasn't gotten a world title run is
I know.
especially if Jey Uso, four letters, one word, he's gotten it. Which I'm not taking anything away for Jey Uso. I love Jey Uso. I do wish him and his brothers match at WrestleMania could have had a little more.
For sure.
But I do love Jey Uso, especially what he did as tag team champs way back when. I mean, his whole feud with Gunther was awesome. So all these guys are people that I like, have legitimate claim to a world title. I think. But is the only thing that truly takes away from this match is, again, we kind of know who's winning. They could always do a crazy thing where something happens. We've even seen it. We saw this past Monday with Roman Reigns kind of inserting himself in everything that's going on. So, maybe something happens with that where title may change hands. All I know is that if it's up to me, Seth Rollins wins. Maybe he has another feud with Punk alone. Hopefully, Seth Rollins comes out of that, and then the person I want to see take the title off of him is Roman Reigns. Because at that point, Roman Reigns can, dare I say, make his claim for GOAT and win damn near every single title in this company.
Well, I'm going to make a wild prediction here. In my opinion, Rollins and Punk kind of cancel each other out. I see Jey Uso as kind of being a non-factor in the match. And, it won't be a long reign, but I see LA Knight walking out of Paris as the world champion.
I'm trying to think. Oui. I don't know what's the yeah for France, but you get the point. I'm not mad about that.
I think it's we. I mean that's a crazy prediction. I mean, it would be awesome if we saw it. It's just I love LA Knight. I just can't get behind him as a champion. I think we have too many mishaps on the mic, in the ring. He's just a little bit sloppy for me. But I love him, and I really think that he should be in upper mid card and having like some real legitimate feuds. This one was sort of a thrown together type, like melting pot type fatal four way. I don't think it goes any other way but Rollins, but I think it sets up and I think it breaks a tree for these other three guys. We're gonna see Punk go somewhere else, maybe. We'll see with Jay, but I mean, if you look at it, there's three faces, one heel. So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
I think somebody is gonna choose the other side. So and join the vision. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
I do think.
Well, go ahead.
Sorry. I was gonna say. I do think LA Knight should still be our United States champ. Don't get me wrong. Love Shinsuke Nakamura as much as the next guy. I don't think he should have won it off LA Knight. And because of that, technically Solo shouldn't have it. I think LA Knight should have been the guy. Like, I see him with a title, maybe not world chip, maybe earlier, like maybe a year ago. That argument could have been made, but now he should have still had the US title, and I think he should have been the one to elevate said US title. Just because the US title historically has not been as great as even the Intercontinental Championship. Now, I will say because of, I don't know, in a way, because of LA Knight's occasional mishaps on the mic and in the ring, it's in a way kind of made me like him a little more because it doesn't feel as like picture perfectly produced as everything else, especially his mic skills. Because at the end of the day, even with the occasional mishapper there's very few people that could go toe to toe with him on the mic. Like we saw, like Miz can do it, and that's why I kind of like this Fatal 4-Way in terms of promo. Seth Rollins can always cut a good promo. Plus, he's got Paul Heyman with him, so that's 2-in-1 treat. CM Punk, never a stranger to good promos. Jey Uso, The good thing about his promo is that the people are in with him, and it's very. So let me say this. Do I get it from a perspective that his promos are bad? Yes, but at the same time, it's unique.
Okay.
Because also too, if you think about it too, nobody's cutting promos like Jey Uso. It's very like, I'm trying to think the way I would describe it. It's very street,
very out of breath.
But there's also very not grungy. I don't know what word I want to use. But the point is, it's unique. I definitely would wish. See, this is when I would wish Jey Uso was back with his brother as a tag team. Because man, I still remember when they cut that promo against American Alpha, them coming out with the "No, it's not paranoia." Like that was prime promo work right there. So I hate that Jey Uso promo work is consistent of yeet and sentences that get broken up. But I don't know. LA Knight, somebody I wouldn't mind seeing the World Championship. I think it's one of those things where it'd have to be in the moment for me to see how I feel about it.
Yeah, and like I said, I wouldn't anticipate, if my prediction comes true, I'm not anticipating anything of a long reign for him, but I feel like he's in his early 40s now, so I mean, if they're going to let him have a title run, it's kind of now or never. And I like the guy. I've liked him from when he was in TNA and the NWA as Eli Drake, and just sort of a sentimental type of thing. I'd like to see him at least briefly hold one of the top belts.
So
go ahead.
I was gonna say, going off of that point, I feel like with a lot of wrestling fans, we like to talk about title reigns and who should have them in terms of sometimes age, when I don't think that's necessarily fair, because just because I'm not even concerned about age. I'm more concerned like, how long have you been with the company, and have you held the title and then have had it multiple times, or have you had multiple opportunities and then just haven't like done anything? LA Knight, like he's been in WWE for a hot minute. But we also keep in mind a good portion of that was as a terrible manager for a terrible team. Like I feel like he hasn't truly gotten the chance that he deserves. And I think people use the age to kind of give that as a reason, when we also got to keep in mind how many people are his age as well, especially considering the fact that, well, even though short, CM Punk just won a title. And if he's not the same age as LA Knight, I would almost bet a little older. We've had Damian Priest, who I enjoyed as champion and Senior Money in the Bank. Finn Balor, who, despite how great he looks, is up there in age. We have so many people that are up there in age, but every one of them has a great argument for that should be champion. Finn Balor's overdue for a title run.
Oh, for sure.
And to me, LA Knight,
Oh, yeah.
like I said, whether short or long, I think it should be a memorable one, but I do think LA Knight is overdue for a world title run.
Yeah. Well, anyway, like I said, it's not necessarily the greatest card in the world, but it's got some that are it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. I mean, I'll say that much.
I mean, it's wrestling. It's more wrestling, so
yeah, you can never argue with that. And as far as what we've got coming here on the Throwdown, next Wednesday, September 3rd at 7 p.m. Eastern, I've got episode 150. I've actually gotten to 150 of these. With a wrestler from Las Vegas by the name of Thad Maximus. And then next Thursday, the 4th, also at 7 p.m., episode 151 with a tag team that is currently tearing up the indie scene down in Florida, Kid Kuda and Reese Maddox. These guys are very young, very athletic, and really are a lot of fun to watch. And I'm definitely excited to have them on the show. So, before we wrap this up, do either of you guys have anything coming up that you want to give some hype to?
Nick, you go first.
I mean, we said it before. I mean, this is a big weekend here. I'm buzzing. I can't wait till Friday starts. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll be locked in. Just the Cactus Jack release, like we said earlier. But yeah, that's about it. That's the main focus right now.
What you got going, Nick? I mean, Miguel.
So this weekend, at least as far as I can think of nothing, but I will say, there's a couple places I do want to shout out. Blood and Honey, Nathan Mowry's deathmatch show here in Georgia has been popping off. We have, I want to say the last show as well, but I definitely know the show before that we had a sold out crowd at Monk's Meadery, and that was awesome. If you want to see great deathmatch wrestling, we have had so many great people from Tank to Mickey Knuckles, which if you guys haven't seen that one, yeah. But definitely Blood and Honey has been amazing. DWA, Dynamic Wrestling Association, we have been putting on bangers, whether it's in Alpharetta, on Croc Street. We've had great people come in. We got Cruel as our multiversal champion. I believe our next show is Friday, September 12th, at the TH Chill Lounge. So if you are free that day, please come out. We'd love to have you. Also, speaking of DWA, congratulations to our very first women's champion, Jazzy Yang. Yes, sir. Show Yang of Wrestling. Gang.
Nice.
That was awesome to see her win it. And then the final place I want to shout out is Now That's Wrestling. We should be having a show hopefully coming up here soon, right after a RPW show. So definitely keep an eye on my socials for that.
I need to get out to one of those Blood and Honey shows.
Oh, dude, it has.
I love Nathan Mowry.
Oh, the match he and Spectre had, the show before this last one, dude, that I dare I say match of the year, because what they've done to each other, it was crazy. And I mean, so many crazy things happened. I mean, D Money damn near almost died last show. That was crazy. I got twerked on by Mickey Knuckles. That was its own thing. It's a lot of crazy stuff going on Blood and Honey, but it's definitely something you don't want to miss.
Absolutely. Well, fellas, this has been a lot of fun. I definitely look forward to doing this again in the future. And everybody have a wonderful night, a wonderful weekend. Be safe. It's a holiday weekend and people get a little crazy out there. And until next Wednesday at 7, be good to each other, love each other.